everybody. Welcome. Thank you for your time. I just want to start by saying thank you very much for being here, and I also appreciate a lot people who are interested in improving themselves and getting to know themselves. Plato said a very, very powerful thing about this. Plato said one of the biggest gifts we can have in life is knowing ourselves. Because if we know ourselves, we can enjoy life more, we can achieve the things we want in life. So it's very important to getting to know ourselves. So I have great admiration for people who are looking into, who are searching to getting to know themselves better, because of the reasons I just said. So a big thank you for you, and a big round of applause for you for being here. Thank you. Now I will just very briefly, for 5 minutes, I will explain what I do, and then we'll go into the topic. So I'm an evolutionary life coach. What is evolutionary life coaching? It's a combination of mind, body, and spirit conditioning, training, if you will, that allows us to improve as human beings, to develop skills, to understand ourselves better, and to be able to move on into our lives, go to the next level, and be able to achieve the things we want, to live the life in our own terms. So, what is mind, body, and spirit conditioning? We all know we're at the mind, body, and spirit, so we all know we have a body, we have a mind, and we have a soul, or a spirit. So how can we improve our life by conditioning our mind, body, and spirit? Very few. Cool. Technology allows us to make a presentation. Well, I don't like PowerPoints, so I just put it there because it's easier to see visual things. But so how can we condition our mind, body, and spirit? A few examples for our mind exercises. So how can we train our mind to be able to slowly be able to change the way we're trained, we learn to think, and slowly start changing it to the way we want to think. So for example, usually like 95% of the population is trained to think negatively. So the first thought that comes to mind is a negative thought. And that is the way we grew up, the way from society, from schools, from all that. So a very good way to do that is every time a thought comes, is to realize that we're not, great. So every time a thought comes to mind, it's very good to realize that, first of all, we are not our thoughts. We control our thoughts. But because we are trained to think negatively, we cannot change that immediately and be able to think positively all the time. So what we need to do is to change the way we react to the thoughts that come to our mind. So when a negative thought comes, we change it to a positive one, or we change it to the thing we want to achieve. Usually we go to do something, And the first thought that comes to mind is, oh my God, what if I don't make it? What if I'm not good enough? What if, and we start going into that negative process that doesn't allow us to achieve the things we want, doesn't give us the motivation, doesn't give us the right brain power to be able to do the things we want. So that's a very small example of what we can do, and I will show you a very quick exercise before we start of how we can do that. Spirit examples, how we condition our spirit. Now, the soul conditioning is a little bit more complex, and there's a lot of many different ways we are able to do that. The best way is meditation, but let's keep it simple. The best thing you can do to nurture your soul is feel gratitude, feel thankful for the things you have in your life. So if you do this every day, when you start in the morning, just ask the question, what am I grateful for? If you keep doing it every day, even from day one, you start seeing there's a difference in your mood. You start feeling a lot better. And the more you do it, the easier it will become, and the more powerful it will become. You start conditioning your soul and your mind to feel better. And the best way to do that is just ask the question, what are the things that I'm thankful for in my life? They also did a study on this, and they found out that just by asking the question, it literally instantly improves our mood because it produces the right hormones in our body to be able to feel better. Another very good way is forgiveness. I'm not going to go into that right now because it's a big topic, but I'm just mentioning it so you can have an idea. And some body examples. Body is very simple, but we tend to neglect it. So, water and breathing. How many of us drink the right amount of water throughout the day? Women need about 2 liters per day, and men need 3 liters per day. And if you're smoking or you're having coffee, you need even more. So every coffee you have, you need to have extra from that amount. And water gives us life. Moreover, breathing. You can live for 60 days, how many days without food? You can live for 3 days without water, but how long can you live without breathing? And how many times do we pay attention to our breathing? And our breath can change our mood, can change a lot of things in our body if we start paying attention to it. For example, slow and deep breath can allow us to relax our body if we're stressed, if we fear, whatever that is. So I urge you to start paying attention to these things, and especially the breath. Just say, I'm going to pay attention to my breath every day, just randomly throughout the day, and you'll see that just by saying this, you start paying attention and you start being able to, okay, am I stressed? Okay, I can start breathing slower and deeper, so I can start controlling my body and my mood. And finally, your posture. Just to remind that it's very important to have an upright posture. Your spine, the whole energy of the body passes through the spine. So if your spine is not right, then your energy is not going to be as powerful, and you're going to have as much energy as you want if your spine is not straight. And poses, I'm not going to go into that, but a very good pose to do is the one I always show in my seminars is the power pose. It's called Superman, Wonder Woman power pose, which is basically, they did this Harvard study. For 2 minutes, if you do this and stand right the way, in the exact same way I'm standing right now, they basically proved that by doing that for 2 minutes, it lowers your cortisol levels, which is a hormone that makes us feel stressed, by 15%, and it rises 20% our testosterone levels, both in men and women, and testosterone makes us feel more confident, makes us feel more powerful. So these are a few ways how do I work. in very simple ways. There are a lot more things if you want to go into it. So, I want to start, before I go into the topic, I want to start and do a mind exercise so I can show you what is a mind exercise. And also, it's good to do it because our mind works effectively, works better, we are more positive. And it's at the end of the day, probably some of you will have a low energy, so I want you to be concentrated and make our mind work as better as possible, so you're able to take in the things we're going to talk today. So we're going to do this. I want you to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And think of a number, the first number that comes to mind. And from 1 to 10, with 10 being feeling amazing, and 0 feeling crap. And ask yourself a question, and think about what's the first number that comes to mind. Don't think about it too much, just think about the first number that comes to mind. The first number is usually right, it comes straight from the subconscious. Everybody done it? Yes, no?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so now what I want you to do is either with your eyes closed or with your eyes open. With your eyes closed, it's more effective. Stand upright, sit upright. So close your eyes, start breathing deeply and slowly. Now I want you to bring a memory from your past that was a very, very great day. You had a lot of fun. You were feeling great. And I want you to bring out that memory. Just any memory you like. Remember that memory, bring it into your mind, and make it as vivid as possible. Like you're actually there. Your mind can do that. Our imagination is very, very powerful. So make it as vivid as possible. Put colors, put sounds, if you want, and see it in front of you. How did it make you feel? See yourself smiling. And remember the feeling, that great feeling, the amazing feeling you were feeling because you had such a good time, such a great day. And make it as intense as possible. Take a few more seconds, and when you're ready, slowly, open your eyes. Still all smiles. That's good. Okay, so let's do that question again now. From a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel right now? What's the first number that comes to mind? How many of you have a higher number? How many of you are feeling already better? Almost the whole room. So that's a very easy, simple way how you can change your mood in a split second. You can do that with your eyes open at any given moment while you're working, while wherever you are, and it can actually change your mood. And even if you're even if you're having a very bad day, it will not last long, this thing, but it will give you that boost that you need momentarily for maybe 5-10 minutes that will make your mind start working more effectively and probably will give you some idea or make you think more rationally to be able to get out of that situation. Because when we're in a negative state, our mind is blurry. It's like when we're angry and we can't think straight. And we always say never take a decision or never think about things when you're angry. It's the same thing if you're having a bad day. But that 5-10 minutes can give you that boost that you need to start changing and thinking, okay, how can I get out of this bad day? What can I do to improve my day? Or rationalizing and say, just move on. If you finish it up with gratitude, so ask yourselves, what am I grateful for? It makes it even more powerful. Okay, let's go into our topic then. Mark Twain said the two most important days in your life is the day you're born and the day you find out why. And Mark Twain was a very bright human being. And the reason he said that is because when you find out why you're here, what's your purpose, and what your purpose basically means, what is my uniqueness? What is this, my skill that comes naturally to me? When you find that, the power and that great feeling you're going to feel is going to be so amazing that it will empower you to find the ways to actually go and live your dream. But you need to find that and make sure that that is it to be able to feel that amazing feeling. And my goal today is to help you do that. Or help you getting to know yourselves even better than you already know now. So a few questions. Did you ever feel that you had a good day, or you had all you ever wanted in life, but still it didn't feel quite right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Please answer so we can communicate. I don't know what you're used to, but I would like to communicate. And also, if possible, also talk or answer my questions so we are on the same page so I can move forward. Usually this is a 50-minute presentation. Usually I don't talk that much. I like people talking to me as well. So let's do it as much as possible when I'm asking you. So did you ever feel that something was missing in your life but you couldn't figure out what that was? Why do you think that is? Any ideas? Any ideas? Nobody? Nobody knows why.
Because you weren't on the right path. You hadn't discovered the right purpose. You were just confused.
Because you were on the right path, yeah, and you get confused. Yeah, that's actually the actual reason. The reason is that if you're not doing things that you love in your life, that you enjoy doing, eventually whatever you do in your life, you're never going to be happy. Even if happiness is a decision, right? Let's not misunderstand things. You can decide right now, what do I need to be happy? And if you set the lower amount of things that you require, you can be happy right now. And this is what all the great philosophers said. Just the secret of happiness is basically not expecting to have so much in your life. The lower you expect to have in your life, the happier you will be. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing things in your life that you enjoy, that you love, you're going to live all life and you're going to be pretty happy. So that is the reason why we get this feeling. Even a hobby, even if you can't do it as a job, even finding something that you truly love, a hobby, will give you that happiness that you want, because that's what we're meant to do. A big part of life is coming here and getting to know ourselves and enjoy our life. That's what, against to all what everybody is saying, that's the meaning of life is enjoying ourselves, developing further, and be able to help others, contributing back to society so we can all improve and make the world a better place. So, as I said here, that's what I just explained. Doing things we love will help us enjoy life more, and ultimately will help us find what we really want to do in our life, to find our true purpose. In other words, to find what can we do that comes naturally to us, and at the same time helps other people. This is our true purpose. So, this is what it's meant, what it means to find your true purpose. But even a hobby, because here I'm mentioning help other people as well. Even a hobby will give you that if you can't do it as a job. Any questions so far before I move on? Now, I want to mention something. No human being is the same. And nature shows us that. It's simple. Our fingerprints are not the same, our DNA is not the same, our eyes are not the same. Every human being has a different set of DNA, fingerprints, and set of eyes. And that tells us a lot. Nature tells you that you are unique. Because what happens in the physical world, it happens in the mental world. And we all know that we're different. We have our own character, we have our own needs and wants. So that tells you that you have something unique. And if you find that uniqueness, you can take advantage of it and you can use it to enjoy your life more, to make a business out of it, to find a hobby, whatever that is. And that's what's come naturally to us, and we'll go into that more. And as I say here, find and use your uniqueness to live the life you want on your own terms. And a lot of people, when I say that in smaller groups, they tell me, yeah, right, you think it's easy to live your life on your own terms? I've lived my whole life and I've done everything I could, and I can't do it. Yeah, the thing is that when you don't know the way to do it, you're going to keep experimenting and you're going to keep searching, and it's not going to be that easy. But if you know the right way of doing it, then eventually, if you follow the process, you're going to be able to make it. And how we can do that? Find other people who've done it, see what they're doing, and model them. Not copy them, model them. I'll go into that later. So, some quotes before I move on to the questions. Find a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. Confucius. Confucius was a very great ancient Chinese philosopher. And that is true. Once you find something that you love doing, you will not feel like work, because you enjoy yourself. Isn't that right? And the second one, which I think is the most important one, and for me, it's the key to do anything we want in our life, not only to find our true purpose, to make a business, do all that. It's not resources, but resourcefulness that ultimately makes the difference. The best resource is not money, it is our faith, creativity, passion, determination, honesty, and love. The most successful people in history had all one thing in common. They had no resources, but they were incredibly resourceful. If you study biographies of people that started out from nothing, and there's so many of them, there's literally thousands of them. You start studying their life and what they did. There are a lot of people that they were homeless when they started, and they became billionaires. Not that money actually determines your success, but that shows you that to go from a homeless and become a millionaire, and it's not one or two, there are many of them, it means that all people can do that. How can someone who had nothing be able to go there and have nothing, have no place to eat, no place to sleep, and be able to achieve that? Because they used the resources they had as human beings. If you use your creativity in the right way, you can have so many ideas that will help you move on to your life. If you put passion and determination into whatever you do in your life, and we'll talk about that later, it's amazing of how many things we can achieve in life. And that is the best resources you can have. Yes, money is important, but if you have the creativity, you'll find ways to do it. And I urge you to go and read stories, read books, biographies of people like this, and you will see that that is possible. My story is also a very good example of that, and I will share it later. but there is literally thousands of people who have done it. And that's why the best resources that we need is already inside us. And it's our skills as human beings. And these are skills that thankfully all human beings have. It's not depending on someone's character to have these skills. These are skills that are embedded in us the day we're born.
They will tend to come naturally only when you find something that you have passion and you're good at. Otherwise,
yes and no. They will become more powerful. They will become more passion, yes. But also you can cultivate these things. If you know the right way of doing it, you can cultivate these things. And I will show you a very good way next to see how you can use. Most people don't even know how to be creative. If you don't know how to use your creativity, how can you be creative? Because usually when you go be creative, you start thinking of ideas, and then your logic mind starts jumping in. It's like, oh, you have no money, oh, you have family, oh, and then you have all these logical, they are logical reasons. But in order for us to create ideas, in that stage, you don't need that. That comes after. You need to switch off your logical mind, become creative, get the ideas, and then start planning and start saying, can I do this? What do I need to do this? That's when you use your logical mind. Please, Anne.
And it's often not just your logical mind, it's often, you think of young people, parents and parental pressures, cultural pressures. You can't be an artist, how are you going to make money, how are you going to provide for the family? We've always done this, you will do these subjects, your drawing study this. So you have people living other people's lives. Some people who can write about that and they will have a career change because they get to a point where they think, yeah, I'm independent, I've got some control here, this isn't working for me. And other people who will just find themselves at the end of their lives and never really live the life they wanted.
Yeah.
So it's a whole host of stuff coming in.
Yes, but what is